My name is Jake, and for the past couple of years, I've been working to bring my dream, the Seventh Sea, to life. Now, the Seventh Sea is a story that I have created, and for a while, it was initially going to be a comic book, and I spent probably 2 years working to create various different comic books, and I ended up completing two entire ones that I just never published because they weren't up to the standard or quality that I wanted, and I just didn't think they told the story that I was really trying to tell. And so I decided along the way somewhere that I was going to create a animated series because that was my initial want. That was what I had always dreamed of doing. I just didn't think I had the capability of doing anything even remotely close to what I had dreamed of. And then I realized that if I started to study all these various programs and different things that I saw these professionals using, I had a chance to actually create what I envisioned, and that got me excited, like, really, really excited, and after that, I started creating. The first thing I started doing was animating. I bought a drawing tablet for around $60 and used my new computer that I had spent the past 2 years working for to animate. I got Adobe Creative Cloud and began using Adobe Animate to create just rudimentary basic animations. I spent probably about a year just developing my skills with animation before I was able to create anything that was actually good looking. Uh, this was my first animation that I was able to create here on screen, and now this is something of around of the quality that I'm able to create now. And that level of progress to me has been incredible. Just 1 year, I wouldn't have expected to have grown so much in that skill, but I spent a lot of time, and I even had classes in school where I had computer stuff where I would finish my projects and be able to animate in that class, just sign into my Adobe and animate. And I got really into the process. I started, figuring out exactly what would make animation better. And it's all 2D animation, I should have specified. It is all 2D animation. And I started researching what makes it better, or the principles of animation, and not just that is a term people use, the principles of animation, but what are the fundamentals of animation? What makes it good? How can I do it faster? How can I improve my process overall? And as I started to learn, I began to create things that were better and they looked better, and I would start showing them to people, and instead of going, "Hey, what's that?" they would be like, "Oh, that looks cool." And that was awesome to hear. And over time, I started refining the idea that I had for the story of the 7th Sea because overall that was the main, point, was bringing that story to life out of anything, above animating, above anything, bringing that story to, now creating this TV series or this animated series. That's the main goal. And so I had to focus on other stuff as well, not just animation. There's a bunch of different aspects that go into creating an animated series. And one of the ones that I had to start focusing on very early on as well was writing and just storytelling. And so that's been something that up until now in my life, I've always loved doing. And still now, I guess I should say still now. I enjoy writing a lot. I always have. And especially drawing as well. That's another thing that I've also just done my whole life before even animating or working on the comic book. Those two things I've just enjoyed doing in general. And so now that I'm at the point of really starting to try to create this and actually execute the plan that I have envisioned, bring it to life, I'm realizing that I can't do it alone. I can't just create this. I have to get other people interested as well. And so the point of this and my further documentation that I'll be doing every day while I work on the 7C, the point of it is to try to get other people involved, try to get other people interested. I'm extremely passionate about this project. This is something I love. Most people in my life that know me know the 7C, know that's what I'm working on, know that's what I am constantly doing. And I would like to get other people to, that I don't know, to also know that. Maybe see the project and have an interest in it and want to be a part of it, possibly. Because that's another thing I wanted to do is try to get other people, other little creators and stuff, maybe smaller animators that want to make a name for themselves, and bring them together. Maybe small music creators, 3D artists for the backgrounds, which I really need. Bring all these people together and create something, you know, collaboratively to get all of our names out there. And so that's the overall goal as well. And not just bringing this idea to life, but now one of my main focuses as well is to create something not just alone, but with other people to, like I said, to make a name for ourselves. To introduce you to the Seventh Sea, I should start by explaining how the story begins. The story focuses on a man named Zim, a young man. Zim is a contract killer, pretty much. He takes contracts from this large company that is all across the world, in this world, and acquires these contracts and kills people and gets money for it. Now, Zim hasn't been doing this for too long, but when he turns in one of his contracts, he is for the first time ever offered one, rather than just seeing it and choosing it. He is offered by the clerk or worker there to take this bounty, and he finds that very interesting. While he's there, he meets two other people, Percy and Cole, two brothers, who also decide that they are going to take this bounty on, and Zim decides that as well. He's going to take this bounty, and Percy and Cole don't have a ship. They don't have transportation there, and Zim does. Percy and Cole decide that they're going to ask Zim for transportation there, since they want to take on the bounty as well. Now, Zim doesn't like this idea at all. He is definitely to himself, but he decides eventually to allow them to come. He forms almost a bond with them, and one night they hang out together, and he sees that they're really brothers, that they're close, and he misses that. The story also flashes back onto Zim's childhood often, and especially during this first episode, you get to see a lot of what Zim went through growing up, and you realize and see that Zim wants brothers of his own. That's what he's always wanted. He had to. They left when he was very young, and that's what he's wanted when he was like pretty much his entire life. And that's what he set out to sea for in the first place, was to locate his two brothers. And so he decides to allow them to come. Percy and Cole need a ship. Zim wants brothers, and so they together decide that they're going to go complete this bounty. Most contracts list the locations or last seen locations of the person that you are tracking or trying to kill or capture. And on this one, they lead to an island, an uninhabited island. And Percy, Zim, and Cole set sail. When Zim, Cole, and Percy arrive to this island to find the person on this contract named Sylvanus, they realize that there's something very odd about the place that they've arrived to. There are ships all around the island, like tons of them, just all around. There's no port. There's no town, as of course it's uninhabited. So there's just ships all around. And they very quickly realize that this is not the typical contract, that there is something very, very wrong going on here, something very odd. Now, there is a mystical nature to this world. There's a almost supernatural nature. Everyone pretty much has the option to explore some sort of supernatural ability or some sort of beyond human ability. Whether that's through spiritual means, physical means, maybe acquiring an object. There are tons of different ways for people to acquire superhuman abilities. That could be anything from having a flaming sword to creating a statue of ice. It could be anything. There's tons of different stuff. I'm not going to try to explain that system that I've created too thoroughly, because that would probably take a while. But it is, like as I said, a supernatural or mystical nature to the world. So there are creatures, beings, things beyond most people's understanding, things in the story you'll see that you'll never really get an explanation to, because it's just part of the nature of the world. And that's what I've always wanted. That's been one of the core concepts of the Seventh Sea, is bringing a world to life that has just this nature, this mystical nature where there's unexplainable things that go on that people can tap into, that people can maybe manipulate in the slightest, but that no one really will ever have a true understanding of. Almost in the same sense of what we have in our universe. You have stuff in our universe that, in our real sense, that will never understand. And so I wanted to kind of replicate that, but with, animation and something that I could show on screen and tell the story of as well. Now, I'm at a point where I have some completed animation for this first episode. I've actually started working on this first episode already. But as I said, I need assistance. I need other people to, at the very least, be interested in the project, and to give me ideas and stuff, because working on something alone just isn't great. It's not a good recipe for success. I plan to post every day from now on the YouTube Shorts and plenty of long-form videos as well. But I plan to post every day on YouTube Shorts, just showing what progress I've accomplished for that day, what I've done, maybe if I've learned anything new. One of the things I currently have to do, and am starting, and one of the big processes is Blender, because I want to have 3D backgrounds for this. If you're interested in this project, if you're interested in the 7C, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be, like I said, I'll be posting stuff every day. But also maybe go into the comments section, maybe leave an idea you have or ask a question that you'd like to have answered about, what I'm creating, or maybe something about the story that I've explained so far, or just anything, maybe the process that I'm doing or what I've done so far. Or if you would really like to be a part of the project or have anything at all that you think you can contribute, literally anything, reach out to me in the email down below in the description. That is how I'll have any sort of back and forth conversation. But that is all for this initial video. I hope that anyone watching, anybody that I've maybe shared this video to, anyone that's seen this on their recommended, anyone who has been shared this by somebody, anyone that has any interest in being a part of, maybe just a series in general, maybe they just want to be a part of a story, creating a story, I'm open to pretty much anything. If you have really good recording equipment and you just want to do some voice acting stuff, I would love that. Just anything. I'm really excited about this project. I've had a very maybe sort of more serious tone throughout this. I don't know. But when I talk about this and when I'm thinking about the 7C, it really makes me excited. It is genuinely my dream. This specific project has always been the main focus for me. Even though I've always wanted to be a writer and a director above all else, this has always been my main project. This has always been my magnum opus, you could say, the thing that I want to be the greatest. And I hope that people can help me do that. People want to help me accomplish that. The people will want to be a part of that. They'll want to create something awesome. I thank you for watching this. I appreciate the time you've taken to watch this video so far. And maybe you're not interested. That's totally fine. But remember this name, because you will hear the 7C again. Trust me, you will hear it. Maybe it'll be at work someday. Maybe it'll be while you're scrolling. You'll hear the 7C. Trust me. And if you want to be a part of it, as I said, reach out to that email. Thank you all for listening. Take care.